What did your neighbor do to earn the title of crazy? I had a neighbor who would sneak into my yard at night and roll up my sod. It would be laid perfectly the night before, but I'd get up in the morning and it would be rolled up just like it was when it came from the store. I finally got pissed and spent the night laying by my back door with a baseball bat and a flashlight, ready to bonk the crap out of whoever it was. Sure enough, they came around 2 a.m. and I stood up, turned the light on, and was face to face with 4 raccoons rolling up my sod looking for bugs. Well, did you bonk them? Skin Vixen says, used to live in a little town of 300 people where we had an elderly neighbor named Gladys. She would routinely look near our garbage can outside and take the recyclable bottles and cans we would leave for her. After we cleaned out a fish tank, we put the gravel and fake plants in a bag and left it on top of the garbage can because it was already full. About a week later, Gladys hollered at me while I was outside to come over as she wanted to show me something. She had taken that bag we had left and planted the fake plants along the side of her house. She said she wasn't real confident that they would make it, but so far they seem to be thriving. I could only nod and compliment her on the green thumb. Tim O'Brien 93 says, my next door neighbor growing up had a passing in the family. The day of the funeral, the neighbor comes to the door and asks my dad if he can borrow a tie. My father complies and gives him a nice black silk tie, suitably appropriate for the occasion. We show up to the funeral and see the neighbor, strangely not wearing the tie he borrowed. I look at the casket, and my dad's tie is being worn by the corpse. Not wanting to be rude, nothing was said, and as a result, the tie was buried with the corpse, never to be seen again. Deleted says, my neighbor sits in his yard, hides behind his plants, and meows at people who pass by. He is not dangerous at all, but he is not right in the head either. His caretakers are his parents, and they seem to be very nice people. His dad once told me he just likes to be a cat, and left it at that. I didn't ask any more questions. She has a penchant for going around sticking nails in people's tires at night. This has happened dozens of times to nearly everyone on the street, though she's slowed down since more people started installing video cams and motion sensor lights in their driveways. La La Lima Bean says, she dug up my fancy flowers and replanted them in her own yard 15 feet away. Trauma Sparrow says he eats my flowers. In his defense, he told us that he has been doing it for years when he introduced himself after we bought the house. He also brought over frozen cookies in a plastic bag as a housewarming gift, but wasn't sure what was in them.
Don't eat those.
We share a side yard, and he is a really great neighbor. Just an older, quiet guy who keeps to himself and eats my flowers. He comes over to my yard and eats the lilies raw, or brings scissors and clips the heads to boil and make jam. I thought that his particular foraging was interesting and quirky, so I planted a couple of raspberry, blackberry, and blueberry bushes 3 years ago when we first moved in. On the side yard that we share, I told him to help himself to berries anytime, especially before the birds do. The bushes have all gone insane, and the entire side of my house is now a summer berry haven for us to share. Having a decent relationship with the guy I share a property line with is worth some dead-headed flowers. Mr. Chic says, I used to live